All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most sacred, most intense, and honestly, one of the most dangerous ceremonies in the ancient world, Israel's Day of Atonement. And you've got to understand, this was way more than just a holiday. This was a high-stakes ritual for the entire nation's survival.
You know, the whole ceremony kicks off with this really chilling reminder. I mean, right from the get-go, the text just lays it out there. This is a matter of life and death. The high priest's own 2 sons had already died because they got this wrong. The stakes could not possibly be higher. And that really gets to the heart of the problem this whole ritual is trying to solve. We're not just talking about one person messing up. We're talking about the collective guilt, the rebellion, the spiritual mess of an entire community. So how in the world do you wipe the slate clean for everyone, all at the same time? So the mission is pretty clear, but it's also incredibly perilous. In the ancient mindset, the presence of a holy God was kind of like a pure, immensely powerful energy source. And the people's collective mistakes, well, they created this sort of spiritual pollution, a contamination, that made it really dangerous to get close to that presence. This barrier had to be cleansed, or it could spell disaster for everybody. See, at the very heart of the sanctuary, there was a space called the Most Holy Place, and it was separated by this thick, heavy curtain. Only one person, the high priest, Aaron, could go in there, and he could only do it on this one single day of the year. The warning was explicit. You go in at the wrong time or the wrong way, and you will die, period. Now, before Aaron can even think about doing anything for the nation, he has to deal with himself first. I mean, at the end of the day, he's human, right? He's flawed, just like everybody else. He can't go represent the people before God until he himself is ritually pure. The process here is so specific, and every single step is symbolic. First, he has to take a full-body bath for complete cleansing. Then he takes off his fancy, ornate high priestly robes and puts on these simple, plain linen garments. It's this powerful act of humility. And only then, once he's personally clean and humbled, can he offer a bull to atone for his own sins and for the sins of his family. Okay, now for a really crucial protective measure. As Aaron steps behind that curtain, he takes burning coals from the sacred altar and this fragrant incense. The smoke just billows out, creating this thick cloud that veils the divine presence. The text is very clear about this. This screen of smoke is there so that he will not die. It's a necessary shield between the human and the divine. So, the priest is prepared. And now the focus shifts to the nation. This next part involves 2 goats. And it's right here that we see the 2 sides of atonement in action. One goat is destined for God, and the other is for exile. Their fates are decided by casting lots, a moment of chance that decides how the nation's sin is going to be handled. So they cast the lots. One is marked for the Lord, which means it's designated for sacrifice. The other one is for the scapegoat, and it's destined for exile. So you have 2 goats, 2 completely different paths, but both are working to achieve one single goal: cleansing the entire nation. The goat that was chosen for the Lord is sacrificed. Its blood is then carried by Aaron behind the curtain into the most holy place. Now, the purpose of this blood isn't to cleanse the people directly. This is key. It's to cleanse the sacred space itself from the defilement that was caused by the people's sins all year long.
And the ritual is so precise. Aaron sprinkles the blood with his finger not just once, but 7 times. In this ancient culture, the number 7 was a huge deal. It represented divine completion, perfection. So this repeated act is this powerful, symbolic declaration that the purification of the sacred space is absolute. It is totally done.
All right, the sanctuary is now cleansed, but what about the sins themselves? Where do they go? Well, that's the job of the second goat, the one that's headed for the wilderness. And this is probably the most dramatic part of the entire day. It's like this powerful piece of living theater that deals with the community's guilt in a way that everyone can see with their own eyes.
So the live goat, the one chosen to be the scapegoat, is brought forward. The high priest then performs this incredibly powerful symbolic act. He lays both of his hands firmly on the goat's head, which signifies a direct transfer, a direct identification.
And while his hands are on the goat, Aaron verbally confesses everything, all the wickedness, all the rebellion, all the sins the Israelites committed that year. He is literally loading the weight of the nation's guilt onto this one animal.
And right here, this is it. This ritual is the direct origin of our modern term scapegoat. It's pretty wild to think how this ancient ceremony, which was all about removing sin, created a word we now use for unfairly pinning the blame on someone else. So after the confession, a designated man leads the goat far, far away, deep into the uninhabited wilderness. The goat carries all the sins of the people on itself, physically removing them from the community. The visual metaphor here is just so powerful and clear. Their guilt is gone. It's been sent to a place where it can never, ever come back.
You know, this incredibly detailed ceremony wasn't just a one-and-done kind of thing. The text makes it very, very clear that this was to be established as a lasting ordinance. It was meant to be a permanent and essential part of their annual rhythm of life.
And this wasn't just for the priest either. The entire community had to participate. On this specific day, everyone, it didn't matter if you were native-born or a foreigner living among them, everyone had to stop all work and deny themselves, which was an act of communal fasting and humility. By sharing in the solemn rest, the people were all showing, together, their dependence on the atonement being made for them.
And this, right here, this is the ultimate promise. This is the whole goal of the entire day. After all the danger, the purification, the sacrifices, and that dramatic sending away of the scapegoat, the result is this: complete spiritual renewal, a clean slate for the entire nation before God.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought. This complex, ancient system of blood and goats and smoke, it might seem really alien to us today. But when you look closer, when you really get down to it, it points to something deeply human, that profound need we all have to deal with our mistakes, to wipe the slate clean, and that universal desire for a fresh start.